doing a this is what happened in Moonlight kind of thing.
Yeah. All right, so hold on, setting up the YouTube live here.
Okay.
There we go.
Meeting is now. I am back to. I see the live on YouTube. Meeting is now streaming live.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, here we go.
I'm
Hey, everybody.
Oh, we're live, right?
Yeah, right now we're live. And 1 second, and I'm I problem is I'm hearing we're live, but I'm hearing echo.
I'm not. You sound great.
Yeah, I'm hearing an echo in my
on my end, Dave. You are killing it.
All right, hold on. Hey, give me a second. Give me a second here. All right, so everybody, yeah. Thank you. Hold on.
Who are you thanking?
I don't know. You're not hearing the echo I am. That's the problem.
I am not. No, it sounds wonderful on my end.
Give me a second. I know.
I'm here all night.
This is crazy.
I'm going to step away for a moment. And
no, we're good.
Oh, you're good?
We're good.
You're good?
We're good. Okay,
cool.
I'm back. All right, Tom.
Yes.
Welcome everybody. This is live, and this is my first one, so bear with me here. We're doing a live YouTube live tomorrow with Austin Tolliver and Jaded. So this is our test. But with me is co-host of the Stage Door Show, Tom Kline. Hi, Tom.
Yes.
And this is timely actually, because what we have some big news from Moonlight Theatre. Now, a lot of you who have listened to our podcast, know about Moonlight Theatre. It's a small community theater in Florida, and unfortunately, well, I'll let Tom, you kind of explain kind of what happened in Moonlight Theatre and where it's going to go, because it's almost like a made-for-TV movie. But I wanted to kind of let everybody know there's going to be a story coming out in the paper about it, and just kind of explain to everybody, what's going on. Yeah.
Well, I will say this: do not say unfortunately, because what's happening is fortunate, seriously fortunate. The Moonlight Theatre. We've been there for 25 years in downtown Clermont. And one of the things I do want to say right off the bat, one reason why, as community theaters go, I think we are like above and beyond in terms of your average community theater, is that so many of the actors and actresses that participate in our shows are there because their families are involved at Disney, Universal, the theme parks. And there are so many people who work at the theme parks as entertainers. They dance, they sing, they do their thing. And all of those people, that's their job, and they're happy that they're doing that. But those are creative people, and they want to do something that is creative. People want to do something that is creative and makes your heart feel good. You know what I mean? Like, you feel great when you do a show and you touch somebody, or musically you made them smile. And you get that when you work at the theater, or not the theater, but at the theme parks. You have that sense of like, oh God, the people love us. But you do the same thing every single day of your life, and you're getting paid to do it. That's cool. But it's not really, after a while, it's like, I want more. And the more becomes the community theaters where you live. And Moonlight, Clermont, for Universal, all the theaters in Central Florida, that's where we draw on our talent from. Are these people that make a living entertaining people at the theme parks, but who want more out of their creative, like, I want to entertain. And so those people come to our auditions. And because of them, we put on amazing shows. And we've been doing that for a long time at Moonlight. 26 years, actually, 26 years this year. And there are so many. The Melon Patch Theater in Lake County, where we're at, there's the Melon Patch Theater. There's the Bay Street Theater. There's a brand new Tavares Theater. The elite is really the Ice House Theater with Darlin Berry and Dave Clevenger, who are putting on, I mean, we're talking really quality shows.
And the Winter Garden, I believe, too, right?
Winter Garden isn't actually Lake County. They're
Right.
Orange
But it's
County.
nearby, but it's nearby.
It's very nearby.
Right.
And yeah, the Winter Garden Theater puts on, I mean, shows that are like touring Broadway shows. I mean, they're very, very, very good. Downtown, well, not downtown, but Central Florida, Orlando, many of those theaters. Recently, we had Wade Hare, who was the manager of Breakthrough Theater. He just announced he had to close because, of the COVID, of the whole, like, we can't survive not doing shows, and we're still paying rent, and we're still trying to hold down our theater and make things happen.
Right.
And everybody's going through that right now. You can't really put on a show.
Yeah.
But the one bright spot that's happening right now in all of that is the Moonlight Theater, which I have been involved in forever. I was president shortly, but Trista Fouts, who is the president right now, and the executive board have reached out to the city, and there's a lot of things that went into it, but we came to the conclusion, because of construction that happened around our theater that we have been in for 26 years, kind of made it impossible for us to continue there. And we were in downtown Clermont. And the city kind of
real quick, I mean, just for our viewers, Clermont is a very when I moved there several years ago, it was a very small city with very few businesses, and there was just a small little main street with maybe one stoplight. I mean, it was that kind of a small town.
We are a small town. Yeah.
Over the years, it's grown into more of suburbia, I guess you'd say.
We are suburbia for Central Florida.
Right. So, but it's grown leaps and bounds since when I lived there. But it's still, all in all, I mean, it's still kind of one of those little oases that's near Disney, but it's like a little gem of a town that people that maybe work at Disney live around there. And there's a lot of people that but I think there's an Olympic facility there, but I mean, overall, it's a very small town, still that feeling of a small town. So when you go to Claremont Main Street, it's still a very quaint little small town, historic town in Florida. So when he mentions Claremont, I mean, you get that picture in your mind of like a small Norman Rockwell-ish small town, right?
Absolutely,
yeah. So
well, and not only that, but we are in Florida, the highest point. We are the only place that has hills and valleys. Yeah, I mean, we are the center of Florida. We really are. Yep. And literally, what the city has decided we're going to be known for are triathlons.
Sure.
Because we have lakes galore. We have lakes out the yin yang.
Filled with the gators.
Well, there's no gators when you do a triathlon, but I mean, we have hills for the bikers to go down, and so we're the triathlon central.
Good training, yeah,
not just of Florida, but the country.
Anywhere, right? Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Like triathlons are huge here,
mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, we're also God, what is her name? Dottie, whatever. We're the really actually big time on women's softball.
Sure.
There was Dot Richardson.
Right. Yeah. Pitcher, I think.
Yeah, she was the biggest name in women's softball in America.
Yep.
She lives here. And they've been promoting women's softball here.
Right.
So we're a hub in so many ways.
Right.
But at the same time, we've also been doing this community theater thing where we have talent, we're putting on good shows, and we were about to lose our facility. And in fact, we're going to lose our facility.
Yeah, right.
But the city reached out to us and we got with them, and they have this complex that they bought from a church that was kind of going under, and they have started this thing called the Clermont Performing Arts Center, which is a theatrical sort of a complex,
right,
of buildings and things, and
multi-use.
Multi-use.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's a pool there. There's a number of theaters in the building.
Right.
A lot of little offices for art things, and just it's meant to promote the arts.
Right.
And they actually early on asked us if we wanted to be a part of it, and we did, but the way the facilities were set up was not really conducive to what we do. You can't do a community theater and every night break down your show, and that was what they were asking us. But it turns out, just as we lost our facility in downtown Clermont, we were looking at where we could go, what we could do, and there was a parcel of land adjacent that the city owned, adjacent or part of the Clermont Performing Arts Center, that perfectly fit with the idea of us building a new theater there. And we've met with the city. It's not a done deal yet, but I think it's going to happen. And we are hoping to build a facility that not just lets us do our shows, but where we could bring in conventions of people who are into theater conventions.
Sure.
We could do traveling things. We could do
like
our
touring,
own shows.
like if somebody wanted to do a traveling theater show, like
and they're
community
doing that
theater.
already.
Right, yeah, exactly, and it's not just Broadway, but I mean, community theaters. I want to take their show on the road. Maybe it's maybe it's a original play or musical that they wrote. They wanted the world to see it. They could come to your facility, and when I said unfortunate earlier, I think that I say it was a made-for-TV movie. This really was going that way.
Oh, it was. It
right?
absolutely. We were like, oh God, we're going to die. We're going to be gone.
It's like the bulldozers that start pushing the way to land, and everybody stands in front of the bulldozer and stops the bulldozer. I mean, it's really kind of.
It really is a combination of Tiananmen Square meets Bull Durham, not Bull Durham, Field of Dreams. We are the Field of Dreams of theater.
Saving the baseball field. Yep.
Yeah. If we build it, they will come. It's kind of been our mantra here recently. And the idea is we will build a state-of-the-art facility, and people will show up, and the already state-of-the-art facility that they had at the Clermont Performing Arts Center, people who love us already will come to us and see them, and we'll all be better. People will be like, oh, there's that theater and that theater and that theater. I mean, I really think we have the potential to be like a hub in Central Florida of art, and where they have the Fringe, and the Orlando has the Shakes, and they've got the Rep, and all the things that they have where the Fringe happens. That's not going to get away, and that's the heart of Central Florida. But we could be an extension of that, and I think that could be amazing, and especially for the people in Clermont.
And I think the talent in Central Florida is second to none, like we talked about earlier. But I think that as theaters go, knowing a lot of the theaters myself in that area, I think it's like you just want to stand up and cheer for what happened here, because you think about it's almost like the big theaters and the theaters that the regional theaters there, or some of the more popular community theaters. It's almost like I don't want to say people turn their nose up at the smaller theaters like Moonlight, but it hasn't really gotten the respect that it deserves over so many years, and it's almost like in your face type of thing.
Exactly.
And like I said, I have nothing against the other theaters. I think they're great, but but when you get like a small theater, and Moonlight started with, people moving chairs around the floor, that was your seats. I mean, you portable
Oh,
chairs,
absolutely. Yeah. Early
until,
on. Yeah.
yeah, until you put permanent seats in. I mean, that's the way this theater was. And, with a small budget, and, and people winning the 50-50, but giving back the money to the theater, because, it's like, you just want to make sure that this thing survives. And, year after year, it was like, is this thing going to still be around next year? And to
Yeah.
have this happen, it's just, I mean, you can't help but cheer it, and,
Well, let me put in that it hasn't happened yet, but I do want to say the city manager is a guy named Darren Gray, and he has been super supportive. He's brilliant in terms of how to develop a city.
yeah,
And we're a small city, but we're a city.
right.
And everything he's done, and everything when we met the other day, like I truly think as city managers go, this guy's amazing. And I think it's going to happen. I think the city council, they're like just really at this moment, there's really good people on it who care about us
Right.
as a community theater. And I just think it's going to happen because the people who are running our city at this moment, they care about us. And I just, sometimes you feel like everything happens for a reason.
Like all the
And
stars are aligning
all the
right now.
stars align, and that is how it feels. And in this moment in particular, when so many people and so many businesses and so many theaters
Yeah.
are struggling what to do in this moment of COVID, for us, it almost feels like it was a godsend. I don't want to say
Yeah, it was a blessing. I think it was a blessing for sure. Yeah.
I think it was everything's happening for a reason. It was the
Right.
right time, the right
Yep.
moment, and we'll build this building. And when COVID's done, we will be standing here going,
Yep.
"Hey, everybody,
We're
we
open.
are ready to open, and we're going to have an amazing opening. We're going to have an amazing everything."
Well, I hope the stage door, we're going to be there, obviously, red carpet,
Yes.
the whole thing. And that's one of the reasons I started this podcast in the first place, is really because of Moonlight, and because of places like that where, seeing the independent artists at work. And it's not just the musicians that we have on the show, but it's the community theater people who have day jobs, and then at night they go right to the theater and practice for weeks on
That's
end.
why we're called Moonlight.
Yeah, it's like
Because
great.
we moonlight at this.
Yeah.
This is not our job, but
Right.
it's the thing we love.
And just being around that for so many years, and just knowing how it affects people who see shows. And if you've never been to a community theater show, I mean, Broadway's great, don't get me wrong, but if you go to, you
Broadway's
go
Broadway,
to, you spend 10-15 bucks on a ticket to go to a community theater, you get your money and back and then some, with the kind of quality that you're seeing. And these people are doing it for the passion of the art. They're not doing it because they're getting paid every week 13, 14, $1,500 a week like the Broadway actors. These people are getting nothing. In fact, a lot of times putting out their own money.
I will say they're not
Right?
getting nothing. Your children did it. My children did it.
No, they're getting
a sense of community. They're getting a sense of like what we can achieve.
Correct.
And what, like, let's develop our talent.
And that's priceless. That's priceless.
That's priceless.
That's more than money can buy.
Yeah.
And I, just like I've been to so many shows, and my kids still talk about the Moonlight experience. And I know we're everywhere at the Stage Door Show, and we talk a lot about Moonlight, but there's a reason why we do it. And it's almost like it's an homage to not just Moonlight,
Americana, America.
It's that and all the other community theaters out there that are in, like a small town in Mississippi. I talked to, the drama club there, the high school drama club, and they have a little community theater, but the town is like 500 people, but they still love their theater. And, it's like, it's for towns like that, for Moonlights around the country and around the world that don't get the recognition they deserve. And that's the reason like I said, that's the reason we started this podcast, to make sure
artists,
so they get, their name out there. They get the recognition and who knows if somebody's passing through their town and they've heard about them on our show, hopefully they stop and get a ticket and
Absolutely.
to the show.
And art in America is so important. Art anywhere in the world. And I think I might have said this on an earlier one of our shows, Dave, but my favorite quote is from Picasso. And it was, if you locked me in a cell, I would draw on the dirt with my tongue. And that's what art is.
Yeah.
We do what we have to do to perform. And
Right.
that's the beauty of this story, is that Moonlight is going to survive,
Right.
and that they're going to keep going. And I mean, it's going to take a while, but we're not, this virus isn't beating us, and we're
No.
going to be one of the success stories. And
Yeah.
I'm super happy to be a part of that, dude.
And one of the things too with COVID, is it's not stopping anybody from being creative. People are finding even
Ways
more
to do
creative
it,
ways
yeah.
to perform and to do things online, or play doing a play out or a show out in the street for the neighbors. People are getting creative with it, and as long as art will never die. I mean, we did
art will find a way.
I did a show with I did a show. I didn't have a guest that night, but I talked about the art funding in our schools, how important art funding is, because that's usually the first thing to get cut. Because they're going to cut art before they cut sports, and that's just the way it is. Especially when you're in the South and you have it's it's a very football oriented I guess activity in school, but art, band, if it, and people were talking. And in fact, I had Lin-Manuel Miranda did a piece on this topic, and him and David Byrne. So I put clips of them on it, and and to have arts in school, it actually boosts the kids' test scores if they're in art, because it creative part of your brain. It actually enhances that part of your brain when you're doing something creative, either drawing, reading music. Justin Emerd, he's a bass player for 11-38 out in LA. But he was talking about that. He advocates for arts in school, in Washington, D.C. He actually flies to Washington every year to meet with lawmakers to make sure that we're not cutting the arts out of schools. And it's not just music. It could be anything, like I said, art class, sculpture, even industrial arts.
All of that matters. And I am super hopeful that the people of this country know and agree with that. I really could, because I'm not sure that at this moment, this administration is wild about that sort of thing, but it
Right.
matters. It matters massively. It's how our children grow and develop, and
Right.
and
I agree.
it's all the different avenues, whether it be sports. And
Mhm.
sports are important. I mean, you
Right.
and I are both massive sports
I
fans.
grew up playing baseball, and
I was football.
pretty
Although
high level.
baseball too. And
Yeah.
actually, the first play that I wrote was about Little League.
Yeah.
And I think I coached Little League for 10 years,
Right.
which is like from when my son was 7 till 17.
Right.
That stuff matters, but so does my daughter. Was more, I coached her for 2 years in softball.
Right.
And then I knew she was artsy, and that's what she has a degree in art. That's what she does for, her job now.
Right. Right.
But I'm so proud of the fact that she and I went that route. Me and my son did Little League. Me and my daughter did art. And I love both equally. And
I did the
both
same with my
matter.
kids as well.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Theater, dance, and we tried the sports thing. They weren't into it. I'm completely fine with that. And I was actually very supportive of the arts, because
I still remember when Eric, me and Sonny Dion directed Damn Yankees, how proud you were that Eric was a baseball player in that play.
I was very proud. First time I ever seen him in a baseball uniform.
Yeah.
So that was that was great. And just I think whatever kids want to do, I think is needs to be supported, whether it's sports or arts. And we never forced our kids into anything. They just, whatever they did, we
They
supported.
pick, they choose,
Yeah.
they find their own path.
Yeah, but that's how I got more interested in the arts, is by my kids having an interest in it, and
Yeah.
and then doing the filmmaking and music videos and stuff like that. So I kind of went from sports into more of an arts related field. But I think that no matter what you do, just try to be the best you can at it, and just try to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, and if it's like work,
Oh, well, then
then
why do it? Yeah.
exactly, why do it at that point? Hey, if you're doing something you enjoy and you're getting paid for it, that's even more of a bonus, but
Well, maybe one day you and I will know.
well, yeah, exactly. Hopefully, if everyone's listening out there and you're an
Yes.
advertiser,
Yes, we're open.
well, Tom, I thank you for joining. I know it's late. I know you've been
Dave,
up
I
for a
can
lot of
talk to you all
hours.
night. We could talk until 2 a.m. I'd be fine with that.
But yeah, but good luck with the theater, and I know everything's going to turn out the way for the best.
I'm really hopeful.
Yeah.
Literally, I think we could become. This could be the start of something huge in
Right.
Clermont. I mean, we're already kind of big on the triathlons, like I said, and the softball thing. But if we became huge at the theater thing too, I could die a happy man.
No, me too. Me too. And I can't wait to be there when it opens. So,
Oh, you will be.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be there.
Oh, by the way, I want to say, and if we do, if she happens to see this, the president right now at Moonlight is Trista Fouts.
Mm-hmm.
And she was instrumental in, when we did meet with the city, she had a presentation ready to present that it got their attention. It made a difference. And
Yes.
at the same time, this past week, God, how many years ago? In 2013, she and Manolo Hernandez both auditioned for the show that I was directing, that your son Eric was in, called Spamalot.
I remember.
And the two of them met and fell in love. Well, I think they had met before that, but they fell in love there.
Mm-hmm.
And Trista's now the president of the theater. And Manolo is a hugely wonderful entertainer. But this past week, he proposed to her, and she accepted.
Nice.
And I'm hoping that the opening night at the new theater, at the new complex, that we could have a wedding before we have the first show, and then we have the first
on stage.
show.
So that would be a great way to christen.
Wouldn't that be a way to open the brand new theater in Clermont?
That would be great.
The Trista and Manolo got married, and then
awesome.
on with the show.
Well, congratulations to Tristan and
to
Manolo.
both of them, yeah. And they're wonderful people. They're seriously are. So,
everybody
anyway.
at Moonlight there's not a bad person in the house. So
Nah.
But anyway, thank you again, Tom, and again, keep us updated on what's going on with the theater. Any kind of media, press, anything like that, we'll put on our site as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, check out the Orlando Sentinel. Matt Palm is going to do a story about all of this.
And we interviewed Matt recently. So
recently, yeah. And
good.
In fact, Trista was telling him everything had transpired, and he went, I think I think we have our story.
That's great.
And he's going to print it tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Go to orlandosentinel.com.
Yep.
Actually, become a subscriber.
Yes.
They're very inexpensive.
Yeah.
And if you want to know what's happening in Orlando, and we're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can vouch for that. Yes. And the thing is, and everybody loves Orlando because of
Disney.
Because
Disney, Universal. I mean, we're the vacation destination.
That's right. But again, there's more to Orlando than the mouse.
There is.
So so we'll like I said, anytime we can push out what's going on in Orlando, we will. And again, thank you, Tom, and keep us updated, and we'll talk to you soon.
Dave, we're partners. I enjoy doing this crap. So let's do it some
Me
more.
too.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, brother.
You have a good one, man.
All right,
See
you
ya.
too.